Good morning and welcome to Zen Fits here on a beautiful Wednesday in Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world, within you two are at the center of the world. Who shall we look at today? My Swami Muktananda, one of my old gurus, or Swami Rama, one of my own gurus, or my little Zen guru here, Buddha here. Who shall we put in the background? Anyway, I digress. The title of this talk is, this Zen Fit, is I live in a big house. I do. It's a big house in Blackstone. It's over 100 years old, I think, built in 1903. It's going on its second 100 years. And it's always been a big mother to me, no matter what. I've been here since I think we bought the house from my wife's mother. She grew up here. Show you a picture. Yeah. This is backwards. It says, no place like home. This is a picture of my wife in front of this house in 1943, where she moved here as a little girl. And there it is. No place like home. So anyway, I live in a big house, and the big mother always says, whatever you want to do, I've got a space for you. Well, that's not the title of this talk so much. The idea behind this talk, this is Zen Fit, is about truth. Truth is a big house, has many rooms. Every room is a situation. Now, when I'm in the foyer here, I'm in a situation. We're talking together. I turn this, go in the living room. I'm in another situation. Maybe I'll watch TV. Maybe I'll do something, I'll read a book. Then I go in my office and I'm on Facebook. That's another situation. Then I have to go to the toilet, go to the bathroom. That's another situation. Then I go to the kitchen, get some coffee. It's another situation. Then I'm walking back through the long foyer. It's another situation. I go from one situation to another. They're all different. Each one might have its own emotional context. I might have an argument in the kitchen. I might have resolution in the living room. I might watch a movie in the living room, get upset. I may go in the office and watch Trump, get upset. I have a friend of mine who comes here and watches Trump, cusses all the piece of shit, piece of shit. I asked him, what are you gonna do for shit when Trump leaves? Anyway, I digress again. Is that a mannerism when I pull my nose? Does that mean I'm lying? Anyway. So truth is a big house. Now, in form, you can see this big house. So this big house is kind of like a situation in Blackstone. Blackstone's a big house, and my house is a room in Blackstone. But Blackstone is a room in Virginia. And Virginia is a room in the big house of America. And so you go through houses like that, Russian nesting dolls. We're always in a bigger house. But let's just stick to the metaphor. So these rooms or situations in my life are in a big house, but the big house is empty. I can't see it. If I could see the big house, it would just be another situation, you see. So what is the situation that holds all the situations? Well, that's you, you see. You are that which holds all the situations. So when I go from room to room in my big house, I'm always me. I always know the room. And how that room is, whether it needs painting or not, whether it's disorganized or orderly, whether it has some emotional situation or not, you see, or whether I sleep in that room, or whether I do exercise in that room, or whatever I do in that room is a situation. But what's the same? I know it. So I know the room, every room that I am. So when I go from room to room in my big house, you see, I know that I am. Yet I identify with the room and I think, oh, I'm upset, or Trump is a piece of shit, or whatever the situation is creating. I believe I'm that. And I want to be in another room. I'm in the office and I get to have a little problem on the computer, and I go to the kitchen and have a cup of coffee. Oh, I'm in another situation. Now maybe I can think, how do I fix the other situation in the office? I go back, I may have an idea. But the point is, we identify with the situation because we think every situation can be separated from the big house. We think each room can be separated from the big house. And then I want to be in another room. You see, once I'm in a bad situation, I want to be in another situation where I don't have a problem, you see. That's why in the world, we're in a big house full of situations that are unhappy, and I want to get home to the room where there's no situation. See how we get all screwed up here? Because we don't realize that the big house is empty. I can't see it. If I could see it, it would just be another room in a bigger house. If I could see my big house, if I go outside on the street, I can see my big house. But now I'm in Blackstone, and Blackstone's a big house with a whole bunch of houses in it. Each one is a room in Blackstone. But I can't see Blackstone unless I drive to Richmond. Then I can say, oh, there's Blackstone. There's the sign. But now I'm in Richmond. Or in the country, Nottoway County, which I live 50 miles from Richmond. But you see, now I'm in the countryside, and Blackstone's over there. But now I'm in a bigger house called the country. And then I go to Richmond in the traffic, and I'm in a bigger house than the country and Blackstone, and my house here, and all the rooms in my house. See how the Russian nesting dolls go? Go to Richmond, and I can zoom back to the country house, the Blackstone house, to my house on Main Street, the living room, the kitchen, and in each room there's a situation. But where's the end to it? Well, the end of it is you. So if you go to Richmond, to the bigger house, or you go into your house, into the smaller house, you're always you. Wherever you are, you're you. Now, who are you? Do we think I'm the situation? We think I'm something. Because when I think I'm something, I can think of myself outside of the room, and I wish I was in another room. Because I'm something, I could move if I'm unhappy here, if I'm talking to you and I get embarrassed or self-conscious, then I may think, well, I need to cut this off and go get to the kitchen and get some coffee and get away from this situation because I believe I'm something and I can move my something to another room. But that's because I believe the situation is different from other rooms. But if I can see that every room is part of the big house, but I can't see the big house, why can't I see the big house? The big house is you. You are the big house that contains all the situations in your life. Think about it. Meditate on it. See that. No matter where you go work with the boss, you're in a situation. But you're the same you there as you are at home sitting in an armchair, having a beer. It's still you. Wherever you go, Walmart, have an argument. You have a situation. You come back to your house and tell everybody about the situation. It's still you. You see? Nothing's changed. The situation has changed, but you haven't changed unless you identify with the situation. Then that situation in Walmart hurt you. And now you come back to your house and try to heal and tell your wife or your husband how you were hurt. And they say, oh, it'll be okay. Have a martini. Oh, okay. And you finally let go of the situation that you believed you are. But you're not the situation, you're the big house. You're the big house, you see. But the big house cannot be seen. It's empty. So you are empty. And yet you're full of all the situations. But we divide our life into good and bad situations because we think we're something separate from the situation. We believe we're outside of I believe I'm somebody, a thing in this room right here talking to you. But what is true here is just the talking and just you watching, you see. That's all there is. This situation where there is talking to you and you're listening to me or watching me, you see. That's it. There's no other room. I turn this off, there's another situation. You may go do something else, you see. So the situation is always changing, but it's always the same situation. Eckhart Tolle calls this the now. It's always now. It's always present. It's always just this. You see, Zen is all about just this. It's always just this situation. There's only one house has many rooms. We move from room to room, but we're always in the big house. You are always in you. But you can only discover the liberation from the situation when you stop seeing yourself as being separate from the situation. We like to think I'm outside of the house while I'm inside the house at the same time. You see, I'm not really in this situation. I could be somewhere else, and I imagine a better situation because I've identified with this, and it hurts. When you don't identify with the situation, it doesn't hurt, but you are the situation. But you don't hurt because, at the same time, you're not the situation. You're the big house. Have I got you thoroughly confused? Good. Thanks for dropping in.